This video is for someone who has been asked to keep book for Cal Ripken majors. I will be giving some pointers on how to scale down for Cal Ripken minors and how to scale up for Pony League, which is our spring Babe Ruth League in our system. I'm focusing it towards our system, but it should be pretty much the same for anyone else. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them in the comments. If not, we will get into it. I am using the Champ Pro Baseball and Softball Scorebook with a 28 game booklet with scoring instructions and game statistics. This is the one we have in our league this year, and this is the one we are using. Other scorebooks have pretty much the same stuff in them, but they're designed just a tiny bit different. But once you know Scorebook, it's easy to figure out where those differences are. But I want to use this one in particular for our people who are brand new to Scorebook. So first thing to let you know is you will need the Scorebook, and you will also need a pencil. You can use pen if you are desperate and have no pencil available, but you are going to want a pencil. A pencil is going to be much easier because there is a very good chance you are going to be doing a lot of erasing. So you want a pencil? Trust me on this one. I've used a pen and regretted it. And the other thing to know is the umpire is going to call you book, most likely. In our league, we have some newer umpires, but they pretty much know that the person keeping book is called book. The umpire is probably not going to know your name, but they'll be like, book over here. If you are the home team, he will call you home book. And something to note, if you are the home team and you are home book, if the umpire has any questions about, like, I missed the score right now, like, what is it because the score clock's not running, or wait, how many balls do I have, or how many strikes, or is that team in the right batting order, etc. All those questions go to home book. So just realize that if you are the home team, they will come to you for questions. Now, don't feel too intimidated by that, because if you're just going along, you should have any information that they need. Also, feel free to confer with the other team's book. It happens all the time. I don't think I have ever scored a game where at some point one of us didn't need to confer with the other to make sure we were all on the right page, because the goal is to keep everything the same, that everybody has the same information. Okay, so those are the basic things. I have my notes here on the side, so I'm going to make sure I get to everything, hopefully. Also, whatever happens with this, please note that the world is not going to end. As long as you keep the basics of what is going on, and it is really simple to keep the basics, everything will be fine. Please don't stress out too much about this. Most people don't want to do the book because they get too stressed about making sure everything's perfect, especially when you're just doing Cal Ripken. You don't need to keep all the stats. That is not your job at this level, because the coaches know if their pitcher is throwing wild pitches or whatever. The coaches know what they're working with there. The really intricate stats are when you're up doing high school. So don't worry about that right now. Let's go ahead and open our book. The very first page, which you will see in almost all scorebooks, gives you a cheat sheet of what's going on. Now, some of these things you're not even going to need at the Cal Ripken level, so we don't usually get into this much detail, but it is a good thing to look at just for some basics if you just need a refresher. The main thing that you want to look at, and I will zoom in here, is the symbols and the position numbers. But realize that the position numbers you will also have on every page a cheat sheet of where they are. So back to this front page, the symbols. The main ones that you are going to worry about doing Cal Ripken or Pony are, you don't really care about at-bats, because that is something for more intricate details, and you're not going to have to worry about that. You want to know home run, triple, double, single. If you're going up into Pony, that may be where you're looking at a sack bunt or a sack fly. Cal Ripken, you're probably not going to need it. Hit by pitcher, you will need that one. Sorry to say, but you will need it a lot at Cal Ripken level. Bases on balls is BB, so that just means you got walked. Wild pitch and its counterpart over here, passed ball. Those you are not going to have to worry about too much at Cal Ripken level. Like I said, the coaches are going to understand that. That's basically when the ball gets past the catcher. It is either because the pitcher threw a wild pitch, or the catcher did not catch the ball like they should have, like it should have been caught by the catcher and they didn't catch it. That you will probably need if you're going up to Pony level. That's where they're really going to want to know the difference in those things. Left on base, not as important on the Cal Ripken level. It will be obvious when they look at the book if they were left on base or not. Hits, runs, earned run, error, fielder's choice, maybe stolen base. So all these ones here, you don't need to worry about at the Cal Ripken level. For the pony level, you might use fielder's choice or error, possibly. These are for the pitching stats, and that's once you get really good at book, you can start doing that stuff, but do not worry about it at this level. Stolen base, you'll probably be using at the pony level, maybe at Cal Ripken level for majors. And I will get into how all these things are done on the other page. Unassisted put out is, once again, that's probably pony level. If you are brand new to keeping book, do not worry about it at all. That's after you've done it a couple times and you've got your groove. Ones that you do want to know: strikeout, strikeout. So forward K, strikeout while swinging. If on the third strike the batter swings, it is a forward K. If on the third strike the batter does not swing, he just kind of stares at it, or he or she, then it is a backwards K. Strikeouts, once again, that is a pitching statistic. You're not going to have to worry about it. Fly out is something that will be along with fielder's choice or the sac fly. That's something for pony. Do not worry about it too much unless you get further into the season and you feel comfortable. Same thing with the double play. Interference, you will know that happens because the umpire has to call it. That is not something you put down. If the umpire calls it and you want to put it down, you can. Runs batted in, you don't have to worry about that one. Total bases, you don't have to worry about. Put outs, you don't have to worry about. And assist. Those are things you do not have to worry about, so do not stress. I will be going over those things here in a second. Position numbers. This you will want to worry about if you are putting in position numbers. Once again, that is something you will be doing in pony, and it is something further along in the season as you get comfortable with the basics with the book, you can start putting in position numbers. When I get into the next page, you'll understand what those are. You can look at them here, but it is much easier to look at your little cheat sheet here. You go pitcher, catcher, first, second, third, back to short, and then from left to right like you're reading, left field, center field, right field. 10 is for softball. We are not doing that, so don't worry about it. If you ever forget, just go, okay, I start with pitcher, pitcher, catcher, first, second, third, back to short, then I go outfield. I do it all the time, and I've been keeping book for a few years. Now I'm going to zoom out to see, so I can show you what both pages look like. This is what your book is going to look like. It should always be spiral bound, because maybe if it's stapled, because what you are going to want to do is fold it over to make it easier to write on. This one is nice because it's got a nice cardboard backing, so it's easier to write on. You don't need a clipboard. I've had ones a lot of time where I have to have a clipboard. You have one page here and one page here, and you are going to be keeping book for both teams, or I should say you're going to be keeping all the information for both teams, and the other book is also keeping all the information for both teams, not just your team. The first thing you are going to want to do is write your batting lineup right down here. For the other team, you write their batting lineup down here. What I do is I usually have the guest team written on this one, whether it's my team or not, because that way I know this is the first one up to bat. So when I flip it over, I've got the home team up to bat. And that's what we want to keep track of, is what happens when they bat. This is our first page. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see a little closer. You are going to write your lineup here. The main thing you want is their number in this column right here. Get their name if you can. You should receive a batting lineup. All of our teams have been given this booklet where they write their batting lineup, and then it has 4 copies, and they should be handing out copies to different people. You will hopefully get your copy from a coach, and I'm going to say hopefully it's readable, because there are many times where I've gotten the 4th copy and there's pretty much nothing on it. Sometimes you will get it from the umpire. Sometimes you will get it from the other book. Just start with your coach to get your batting lineup, and sometimes they already have the copy of the other team's batting lineup, so you can get them both taken care of at the same time. If for some reason you cannot get a copy, just make sure you get their numbers down so you know what order they're going in. And sometimes I've had to do it as they're actually going up to bat, and then at the break between innings is when I finally get the list and I can write their names in. In our league in Cal Ripken, for minors and majors, everybody should be batting on the team. So you should have the whole team listed out there, and they should all be batting. Do not worry about their position numbers, because also in Cal Ripken, most of the time they're changing positions each inning. And at this level, we really don't care what their position numbers are. The position numbers are the ones that I told you, these ones down here. One of the things that you are in charge of is knowing the batting orders. Whatever order they get put in is the order they are always supposed to bat in each inning. We do not start at the top of the inning. You start wherever you ended off. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so let's say you've got 12 players on your team, but you only get through the first 7 in that inning. The second inning starts with player number 8 and then continues down and then goes back up to the top of the order. I'm just stating this. It may be obvious for most of you, but for whoever's keeping book, I want to make sure you know that. You are in charge of if someone is batting out of order for your team or the other team. If for some reason they are batting out of order, you want to tell your coach right away, and the coach can talk to the umpire about it. If the umpire asks you, obviously you can answer the questions, but you need to tell them right away before they bat. Now let's get into the specifics of it. Your main job for keeping book is to keep track of what the batter and the runner are doing and what happens. You need to notate what happens. I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to have our pretend game here. Number 3 is Smith. They are first. Number 4 is Jones. They are second. Number 16 is Harris. And number 5 is going to be fourth batting, Barnes. Okay, so we've got 4. Obviously, you need at least 9. But let's pretend that Smith is up. Right here is where you keep track of your strikes. Right here is where you keep track of your balls. And over here is where you keep track of the outs. And up here is one base. So this is a single, a double, a triple, a home run. And this is bases on balls. How you would keep track of that is Smith comes up to bat. And the first one is a strike. You can either make a slash or a dot, whatever you're comfortable with. Just make sure you keep track of it. And then let's say after that, he gets a ball. So you make a line there. And then another ball. And we'll make a line there. And then a third one. So now you've got 3. And then let's say there's a fourth ball. So he gets a fourth ball. So then he gets walked. So what you do is you circle the bases on balls because he got walked. And then he started here. And you're going to draw a line because he got onto first. And then what you're going to do is wherever he stopped, he or she stopped, you're going to make a slash line like this. So when the coach comes back to look at it, you know that they only made it to first when at bat. Now Jones comes up and Jones is up to bat. Now let's say Jones got a strike. So we make a slash, and then there was a ball, and then there was another strike, and then another ball, and then Jones just stood there looking while a third strike went across the plate. So this right in the middle here is where you're going to write your backwards K, because that was a strikeout while looking. And then over here in the outs, you're going to write a 1, because that's the first out. Some people like to circle it just so they know. That one is up to you. You have a special little out space, so it should work fine. Now we've got 1 out, and we are, by the way, sorry, we're in the first inning here. So these are your innings across the top, so you know what inning you're in. Okay, so now Harris is up. So Harris gets 1 ball and then launches one and makes it to second base. So Harris goes from first to second. You're going to make a line and you're going to circle the 2B because that's a double. Now, obviously, Smith had to run because Harris can't just run past Smith. So Smith went 2 bases as well. So we're going to go to second and then we're going to go to third. And then you're going to make a line there because that's where Smith ended. Now you've got a runner on second and a runner on third, but you still have 1 out. Now Barnes is up. Barnes, first one's a ball.